Hi everybody, Anthony here with Aces Adventures, and welcome to the Exton Square Mall in Exton, Pennsylvania. This property has some pretty cool history about it, so let's dive right into it. The Exton Square Mall was opened by the Rouse Company in March of 1973, and at the time, Strawbridge and Clothier was the only anchor. It actually was home also to the first Chick-fil-A restaurant in Pennsylvania, and still remains part of the food court today, which, as you'll see in the video, there's not much of the food court left. Upon building the mall, the Rouse Company actually had to agree to preserve the Zook House, which was a historic home that was built in 1750 and has some pretty awesome and incredible historic ties to William Penn, who was a member of the early Quakers in the U.S. and a significant believer in early democracy here in the U.S. and is even credited with helping develop the nearby city of Philadelphia. I will put a link to Mr. Penn's Wikipedia page in the description below. It is definitely, if you're into U.S. history or just history in general, it is definitely worth taking a look at his history. It's pretty significant stuff, and pretty cool to read about that when I was doing the research for the property here. So anyways, the home once stood where Boscov's is today, and they had to relocate that to the northeast portion of the property. More on that in just a little bit here. Exton Square Mall prospered through the 90s, and even though its slow demise has started to really peak in the last few years, it always has had a massive ghost looming nearby, which would be the second largest mall in the U.S., the King of Prussia Mall, which was rapidly expanding. To keep up with this, the mall underwent its own expansion in the 90s, adding 3 anchors, 12 acres of space, and doubling the mall's overall size. And then Boscov's and JCPenney signed on in 96, and Sears joined the party in 1997. 97, as I had mentioned earlier, the Zook House was when it was actually moved, and the home was serving as the mall management office up until then as well. A food court, 2 parking garages were also added, and in May of 2000, a grand reopening ceremony was held to celebrate the $125 million expansion. The mall's capacity for retail also expanded from 95 to 150 stores, and retail footage increased to just under 1 million square feet. In 2003, Rouse sold the mall, surprisingly, along with 5 others to the Priet Group for a cool $548 million. And in 2005, the Federated Department Stores purchased May Company, which was the parent company of Strawbridge's, and converted them into Macy's subsequently. Then in 2014, the cracks would start to slowly leak through as JCPenney announced that it would be closing, and then Priet announced in 2016 they were going to start repositioning parts of the property as they would demolish an old Kmart out parcel in lieu of a Whole Foods market. And then in 2018, Round 1 Entertainment, which if you don't know is just like a Dave & Buster's basically, would occupy the former Penny space, but only on the first level. More closures came in 2017 when the Sears Auto Center shut down, followed by the Sears mainline store itself in the fall of 19, which in the fall of current times, the Sears store is been converted into a temporary spirit store, which you'll see a little bit of that in just a little while here. So 2020, guys, really increased the decline of the mall for several reasons. Number one is probably the COVID pandemic. The mall had to close for 6 months. And, it appears to me that these smaller malls, this mall is not small per se, but unless you're really a massive, huge regional staple mall, it seems to be that those are the ones that are going to last this COVID pandemic. And as if you have been a follower of my channel for a long time, you know that I have mentioned that before, where my prediction is that in the future you are going to see less and less and far fewer regional malls, and you're going to start seeing these super malls throughout the country. So instead of having 1,000 malls or whatever the number was in the U.S. that we had throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you're going to see like 50 to 100, maybe a little more than that, these super malls that serve a very large area. That's going to be what my prediction is for the future. But who knows? Things change. History repeats itself. We will find out more in the future. And also, as I had mentioned, my opinion is that one of the main reasons, in addition to COVID and just the gradual decline of malls in general, is the King of Prussia Mall. The King of Prussia Mall, as I mentioned earlier, is the second largest mall in the U.S., and having been to this mall a couple years ago, it is a beast. So you've always got this mall, which is 15 to 20 minutes away, kind of looming in the shadows. And you kind of have to give credit to Exton for surviving as long as they have, because whenever you have a mall of that stature nearby, it's gradually going to hurt it. So also too, like I had mentioned, in 2016, Priya had done little pieces of this, but they, in 2018 and 19, subsequently really started to shift parts of the mall into some non-retail spaces as they opened up a few medical offices. There is an art studio and a Chamber of Commerce office, so only time will tell just how long this mall can hang on for. Some things of note here at the end of this little scripted, quote-unquote scripted portion of the video here. The West Whiteland Township Police was actually created because of the mall. It's a relatively small area given the fact that even though it's close to Philadelphia, this particular location is a smaller township, and the Pennsylvania State Police did not feel they had the adequate resources to police this area, so the West Whiteland Township Police Force was created, and I believe that's what the Wikipedia article said. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And you know, the township actually only had a population of 7,900 in 1973 and increased all the way to 16,000 in 2000. So even though the population is going up and things are going well in that respect, the mall itself is declining for its own reasons. And then lastly, in 2015, Kevin Smith, the actor, announced that Mall Brats was going to be filmed. It's a sequel to Mall Rats at the nearby Granite Run Mall, but given its impending demolition, plans were then focused on the Exton Square Mall, but for whatever reason, they eventually fell through. So that's it, guys, as far as history on the mall. This was an awesome place to see, and I stopped here on the way back from DC and had known about this place, but there's a theme, a pattern here where some of these places I know about, and in some cases have even been to a few of them, but over the course of the last 4 to 5 years, they have really started to decline. And I had gotten word through word of mouth and through some friends on our DMOD Discord that the place was really starting to suffer. The food court is almost non-existent, and I would say, if I had to guess, I would say there's about a 50 to 55% occupancy rate in the mall now, and it is going down fast, which is unfortunate because this is one of my favorite malls that I visited in terms of aesthetic and just overall look. I really, really enjoyed my time at this property. I actually didn't even want to leave. It's, you know, when you do this, you know, you guys hear me say all kinds of things about, you know, this is my favorite mall, this is my favorite mall, this is my favorite mall, so on and so forth. But a handful of these places really give you this cool feeling, and this was definitely one of those places where I enjoyed it. The lighting, the shape of the mall, just the overall aesthetic and design, and I even think that they're pumping in, as some malls do, some of those scents kind of like you smell in Vegas to kind of, you know, give you that overall feel. But the mall is very clean, it's very well maintained, and it's just, you know, an unfortunate consequence of the circumstances we're in right now. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the tour. Hope you are enjoying my content thus far. 2019 is coming, or 2020, wow, is coming to a close. It's been a hell of a year, and I appreciate every one of you for watching my videos. As always, please consider becoming a Patreon donor. Without your guys and the Patreon support, there would be no channel. So patreon.com/acesadventures, and of course, as always, Instagram and Twitter is the place to find me and contact me if you have any questions, or just to hang out and check out some of the cool pictures that I post there. And the handle, of course, is @acesadventures1. If you enjoy this video, please do me a huge favor and make sure you like, subscribe, and comment and share and do all that fun stuff, and you have your notifications on so that people know, you guys know, when new videos come out. The algorithm for YouTube is a mysterious machine, and those little things you guys do can help me out a great deal. So as always, thank you for listening to me babble endlessly for the last few minutes here. Enjoy the rest of the tour, and we'll be back soon with more Dead Mall adventures.
and to walk off that stage and you're done with Jeopardy. What do you imagine that to be like?
It'll be a significant moment for me, but I've kind of, in my mind, rehearsed it already. And what I would do on that day is tell the director, time the show down to leave me 30 seconds at the end. That's all I want. And I will say my goodbyes. I will tell people, don't ask me who's going to replace me, because I have no say in that whatsoever. But I'm sure that if you give them the same love and attention and respect that you have shown me for the past 30, however many years, then they will be a success and the show will continue being a success. And until we meet again, God bless you and goodbye.